I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is ProjectE 2. Now, just a recap from last episode, this is what we built last episode, a beautiful cottage that resides in the center of a beautiful lake. And this is going to be the center point for what is ultimately going to be our main automation hub. This is where everything really starts. Now, before we can start really working on anything, we're going to have to do some mining. And mining in this pack is a little interesting. Now, one of the main reasons it's going to be much different is we have ourselves a transmutation table, and most of the things that we're going to find underground can actually be transmuted, so we should be able to store it in this table. But we also have access to waystones, which makes it very easy for us to simply dig a hole. There shouldn't be a need for us to simply build a huge mine shaft all the way down underground. What we can actually do is break the laws of Minecraft and start digging straight down. Well, so long as you have yourself some slime boots. And if we wanted to make this a little bit faster, we can actually hold down Shift and the grave key, and we can switch this to a tunnel mode, just like this. Now, there is a small chance that there is lava down there, but we should be able to catch ourselves with the climbing mod and hopefully, slowly slide down. But with the slime boots, as you can see, we can just simply bounce, which is so nice. You can also hold Shift to cling to the wall. So I think this is a great solution to slowly getting down. And once we potentially find ourselves a nice mine shaft opening, oh, that's when the fun's really going to happen, because we can then place down a waystone and just travel back and forth between our mine and our base. Now, the scary part about getting below -30 is we're going to encounter some challenges here and potential seismic activity and geysers. But it's funny that I mined straight into a diamond vein. Yeah, of course I did. Now, even though I did mine all the way down to bedrock, I still want to stay, like I said, above Y level 30 if all possible, as mining down at the super low levels, which is efficient for finding diamond, it's going to be very dangerous down there, with the potential of us taking damage from seismic activity. It sounds wild, but it's actually a thing. Now, from vein mining, we've opened up a little bit of a cave, thankfully. Oh, and this is kind of pretty looking. Okay, so we have regions unexplored in here, which adds all kinds of underground overworld and nether biomes, which are absolutely gorgeous. All of this is a beautiful mushroom one. Okay, but I mustn't let this distract me, because my main goal is to find a cave and essentially mine out all the ores that I can find. This is not only going to let me unlock these ores for automation, but it's also going to give me a nice amount of EMC, which is going to be necessary, especially if we want to continue progressing, because even though it may look like a lot in the top left-hand corner, that's absolutely nothing. I may be able to pull a couple diamonds out, yeah, but after that, that's basically the value that we have setting in here. Now, this is the mod that makes things a little bit dangerous, the Spelunker's Charm. And this is, like I said, where seismic activity could potentially happen and cause some shaking underground, so be prepared. Ooh, and these urns, these can be super profitable as well. Speaking of seismic activity, I think it's happening right now. Okay, I noticed some rocks falling. If you do see rocks falling, duck for cover, because you will take damage. Now, Mekanism is in here, and we are going to need a ton of Mekanism materials for the end game. And speaking of end game, I think I should now show you essentially what we're going towards. So we have ourselves the EMC mastery section. And essentially, we need to do a mining basic quest, which is going to require us to collect a bunch of these items, which are then going to allow us to make these dolls. Now, these dolls are then going to be used to make Archie meat. And hear me out. When doing this, all of these dolls do have EMC values. And essentially, whenever you do collect these, you can store them. After they're done, they're done. You don't have to worry about them anymore. You then just have to worry about how you're going to obtain the EMC for them. Then you can use that to convert it into Archie meat. And then in that process, this is actually going to be a little bit of an EMC gain. It's small, but it's going to be enough to get you started in the EMC automation stage. And this EMC automation stage is where things get wild. So you are going to need to take the Archie meat and convert that into the Archivue. Hear me out. In that process, it's going to grant you, from transferring from Archimeat, doing this process and automating it into the next thing, that is going to be an EMC gain of 200 million EMC. And that sounds like a lot, but it's not. So each of these processes are going to equal, whenever they're automated and you have this looping, it is going to be gaining EMC value each time. So this is essentially an EMC duping operation, but it does require all of this automation and was a really fun concept that I thought would work really well with ProjectE. And all of that leads you into, of course, making the ultimate star, which then allows you to make automation stuff and make all kinds of creative stuff that honestly will help you automate those things even faster. So that way you can ultimately get yourself the Tome of Knowledge and unlock every EMCable item that is available in the pack. Now, I hope that's not too overwhelming, but that's the ultimate idea of what we're actually going towards. And I think having an understanding of what the ultimate goal is will help you have an understanding of why I'm trying to do certain tasks. So my goal for today is to collect ores and to get them processed fast, at least fast as I can at this current moment, while also trying to collect some really nice EMCable materials. Ooh, and we found some uranium already. Very nice. Uranium has actually a lot of uses. We can, one, use it to turn it into uranium ingots, but it can also be used to be turned directly into uraninite for easy automation later on. And uraninite is of course used for power and making ourselves some really nice power generators. Yes, these pots are so good. Goodness, they got flora attacking me. So I think for some nice EMC gain, definitely mining is a really good thing to do early on, as it's going to give you these raw resources that you can exchange for any other raw resource that you may want. Speaking of raw resources, this is actually a really nice find. We just found ourselves amethyst. Definitely worth storing some of these items. Ooh, and nickel. We just found that as well. And some tin, which is going to be needed for thermal. And thermal is a major part of this mod. Now, diamonds right now, oof, these contain the most EMC, and it'll be really nice if we had ourselves some fortune. I mean, anything would be nice with some more fortune. Of course, mining any of these ores would grant us a ton more EMC. Now, as we start to venture a little bit lower, below -30, that's when things are going to start getting a little bit more interesting. So I do want to collect as many of these ores as possible, but yes, we're going to encounter mobs. Like this guy who had an awful encounter with a swordsman apparently. But we also are going to have to deal with some new things like, yes, these right here, geysers. And occasionally these things will go off. And that's where, like I said, things get really interesting underground. And it would be kind of cool to maybe even have a base down here. And look there, more diamond. And by the way, these geysers can be picked up. You can actually silk touch them and use them in your own base. And there we go. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, it's so cool that that happens every now and then, and it's really wild when there's more than just one of them laying about. Now, there's just something about this inventory sound mod that whenever you transfer items over, oh, it's just so unbelievably satisfying. Oh boy. We have a floating creeper is never fun. Okay, let's climb our way out of here. Oh man, the climbing ability is just too nice. But man, this cave really starts to open up. All right, let's see if I can parkour my way up here. And jump. Perfect. Oh wow, now there was just a floating creeper and hopefully nothing floats its way down here. Oh, there's another zombie. Okay. Whew. We should be fine there. Most of the mobs are going to be normal. Should be normal. And whew. Yes, it's a lot less stressful the higher up you go. Oh, and I just found my first silver. That is going to be very nice. Now, my idea for the way that things sort of work in this pack when it comes to EMC was built around this core functionality right here. Of course, there are other ways of gaining EMC, but I really love the idea of being able to just mine and do it mindlessly and not even have to worry about where you're going to store your stuff. You're able to put it in your tablet and continue on mining, especially early on, where I find this the most fun. Looky there, we just picked up a lucky iron shovel of quarrying. That is very interesting. It has luck 1 on it and increased mining speed. Now you're definitely going to want to save these tools because they're going to be incredibly important later on getting into Apotheosis, especially in these tiers right here where they're, for example, blue and so on and so forth. This one can be broken down into some scrap pieces. And the same goes for the gems, and this one dropped a flawless gem, which is absolutely wild. This gem, when socketed on, for example, like a pickaxe that has a socket, will give you +3 levels of existing fortune. So if you already have a high level Apotheosis fortune, you can go even higher than that. Oh, things are going to get real. And I just found myself some boots. These mobs are dropping all kinds of goodies. This cave really opens up. Now this is what I'm talking about. Oh, these guys are really on target. That opens way bigger than I was expecting. And I've got this guy to deal with. Thank goodness for an axe. Now I definitely should make myself a magnet. And a magnet is going to be just like this with a redstone lapis and an ender pearl. I think it's flipped. There we go. And we have ourselves a magnet. And just this basic one is honestly really nice. And we can fit this in any of our charm slots. So just put it inside this one, for example, right here. And I should be able to set a hotkey, and I really like to set my hotkey to the plus on my numpad, but of course you can set it to whatever you want to be able to toggle it on and off. And I think by default it's set to H, but there we go, toggling it on and off. Now spiders in this can be horribly creepy. Oh, them climbing to the roof. Oh, even in me it freaks out. I think I've definitely invited the horde. They are all here, creepers and all, spiders and all. Oh man. Trying to avoid everything at all costs, if at all possible, especially these nasty spiders, man. I mean, whose idea was it to add them anyways? Not me. Now, if only I could get this skeleton to shoot this creeper and kill it. No! Oh, darn it. It was close. Almost got a music disc. Now, out of one of those pots, I ended up getting a mob skull. That's pretty awesome. So after clearing out the upper area, it's definitely time to drop down. Geronimo! There we go. And get to lighting this area up. I'm sure there's going to be tons of mobs, just like the upper side. Man, the slime boots are so good. This place is gorgeous, and I think it's going to be the perfect place to call, like, our mines. It is at Y level 0, so that is absolutely perfect. Mines it is. Perfect. Just like that. And now we can head back home, and all you have to do is click the home and we teleport right back. Now, getting things processed up is going to be a little bit time consuming, at least starting out, but it is going to ramp up very quick because we're able to take, for example, our iron here, and we should be able to now upgrade our furnace. Just by surrounding it here, we now have an iron furnace, which is pretty darn fast. And with that, we should have completed our chapters. Now, I do need to go in here and on each of these chapters, make sure that I accept this. There are some really nice guides that I did set up throughout these quests here. And especially the storage IO. There's a lot of cool things. But yes, just basically going through here, making sure that those are accepted so we can see when we get new quests complete. And I do believe it is underneath one of these chapters, getting into iron furnaces, which is this one down here. Now it is under power because even though this is technically a furnace, it does have the ability, which is really darn cool, to produce power whenever you apply an energy card. So essentially it converts it into a generator. Now back to some of these quests, a lot of this is just going to give you XP, but there are some things that do have random loot bags. For example, the magic chapter, whenever we select this, we have a chance of getting a random magic item, which is really darn cool. It could be all kinds of different stuff. For example, there was an Apotheosis shard, which is used to upgrade stuff. But for the most part, I think that is just about all of that. And we can actually click this collect all reward button, and that will just complete everything, including the XP tasks. And we've just jumped quite a bit into our experience levels. Now, back to the iron furnace. This particular mode here is it's a little bit faster than a regular furnace, and it is even faster whenever you add an augment in here to upgrade it into, for example, a blasting furnace. But we can upgrade it even further and get it even closer to a higher tier by, for example, I think upgrading it to gold is the next tier. Let's see, what is the next tier? Oh, it requires a gold block. So yes, we take the gold block, then surround it, and we get an even faster one. We can see the cooking time going up and up and up. And this is where things get very, very quick. Already, this feels like it's at least 3 times faster than a normal furnace. And to upgrade it even further, we can use 6 diamonds, and we now have a cook time of 80, which is a lot faster. So this is going to be definitely worthwhile, because we are going to want to process through our raw material as fast as we can so we can make faster and faster processing machines. Now, the cool part as well about automating these furnaces is you can just place inventories next to them, and there's a configuration slot with an auto input and output. You can click the middle by holding shift to reset all, and that way you can configure this yourself. For example, the top slot, we can say this can be the fuel slot, and then the bottom can be the output slot. And so if I put my coal in here, it's going to auto refill this slot. Inputs, for example, all the raw materials should automatically get pulled into this slot. And then the output should automatically go to the bottom. So now while I have all of this ready to go, we can actually upgrade this furnace even more and turn it into an obsidian one, taking it from a cook time of the 80 all the way down to 20 just by collecting some obsidian. Now, there wasn't a lot of obsidian down here, but all we really need is 1. So this is actually going to work out just fine. All we need is this 1 obsidian, and no longer do we have to worry about breaking any more of it. Ice bucket challenge complete, and we are looking pretty good. Now, after getting back and placing it in the transmutation table, I've realized that I may have skipped a few steps, because we actually need to make the crystal furnace, which requires blaze powder. And then also to make the obsidian furnace, it's more than just obsidian, it also needs blaze rods. So time to take a dive into the Nether? I think so, and hopefully we can locate ourselves a fortress to get ourselves some blazes. So I have just enough material here, and I think I'm going to place this kind of off in the distance somewhere. After I get rid of these guys. Yeah, we should be able to like place it, I don't know, you know what, we could place it inside of this tree. So with a couple of minor modifications to the tree over here, we will have ourselves a nice hidden portal inside of a tree. Ah, perfect. So now for the moment of truth, going into a dimension that is probably going to be a bit dangerous, because I have no idea what's on the other side here. Now, by making it into this dimension, which, oh, we actually spawned in a pretty decent spot. We did complete a quest, so I really want to check our quest here. Under the starting out, we actually completed this, which has a pretty nice loot pull here. And we got a golden apple out of that one. Oh, not getting super lucky, but we also get ourselves a hostile plushie, which is a pufferfish. Kind of cute. Now, I'm hoping that with my backpack being gold, I should be relatively safe from the piglins. But the piglins, I think, are the least of my worries, as we have a lot more in this dimension to worry about. There's some pretty scary biomes that exist. But I'm, of course, on the hunt to find myself a fortress. And hopefully along the way not die. I do have some okay armor, but it's not perfect. I mean, we're sitting here, I had to remake some new slime boots, but outside of that, we should be fine. Oh, look at that. There's a bunch of slime in this dimension. So I guess if you didn't get slime, you could always go into the Nether, and there's a ton of it. Now, typically I like to just go in one direction, and utilizing our glider, that should make that a little bit easier. We should be able to glide across the Nether. Ooh, I might come back to this. This is definitely somewhere worth coming back to. You can get a smithing table from that. I think this is the actual bastion that we really want, that has the treasure chest in the center. But yes, back to what I typically like to do, go in a straight line, essentially, until I can actually see it on the map, or until I can see it in world. Something else that can help is actually taking these guys out. So if we take down a wraith, and we use the soul bead, we should be able to use this on the ground and see where it's at, and it pointed in this direction. Okay, so it is out here somewhere? I think it's out here somewhere. I'm kind of worried about that thing right there. Like I said, there are some scary mobs. That is not part of the thing that I just did. Okay, so ease my way over here. It should be somewhere this way then. And this is the perfect use case for this glider. Now, thankfully, because of EMC, I have the ability to make waystones upon demand, allowing travel between dimensions so much easier. So man, I'm finding bastions, like this, for example, is a bastion here, but I'm not locating yet the fortress. And it should be very easy to spot it. Some of these biomes are just incredibly spooky, especially while hang gliding, which this looks so awesome. Oh, I found it on the map, and I think we're getting very close. It's right over here. Okay, so I'm going to have to travel a little bit south, I do believe. Oh, but we're right on the edge. Man, maps. Maps are also super powerful. And I want to stay away from those things that spawn in. I just don't think I'm equipped enough to be handling such things. Whew, okay, so we're here. We're in the fortress. And I think now would be a good time, ow, to start prepping and probably put this on, our shield. Yeah, because we're going to have to go against blazes out in the open, and nothing helps us except for a shield. Hopefully we can get these guys before they start really causing issues. Oh, and these guys, this one fell off. Oh, okay. Woo! There's nothing more exhilarating than hunting for blazes, but once we get at least one rod, which we might have gotten, once we get at least one rod, there we go. We can now make more blaze rods. Whew, but that's a journey all in itself. You know, a pretty decent early game EMC farm might actually be some sort of blaze farm. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be too bad at all. Oh boy. There we go. Of course, get set on fire. They do it right underneath my feet. There we go. And, oh, goodness. Now, my main goal, of course, was to set out and to get ourselves some blaze, but I might have to venture a little bit deeper into this fortress. Ooh, this might be a good way in. There's a TNT and a button. Let's activate that. Stay away from that guy. Perfect. We have a way in. But wither skeletons are still going to be kind of scary. We should be able to open this up. There we go for next time. And then getting in here, believe it or not, there is a way. Oh boy. Way of opening these doors. We're going to do it from the other side, I believe. Let's hop on over here. And if we twist this, there we go. Now, there's a ton of encased chain drives, by the way, lining this whole thing, which is super worth getting. But I might as well grab some nether wart while we're here. And we can open up some of these chests, get more nether wart and free gold. Also some magma cream, some fire charges, some great stuff. Oh, and we also have a chance of getting Ars Nouveau books and warp scrolls. So swarms of enemies with bladed spirits. That sounds wild. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, what was that? That's such a troll. That's such a troll. I about lost my stomach right there. I'm not joking. That okay, I think that was enough of a troll for me to get out of here for now. Just now gotta find somewhere to place our waystone. Yeah, that whew, I guess it has a blink spell on it, and I didn't realize it's like a blink summon Vex. I read it wrong. Completely read it wrong. Typical me. Oh goodness. And I almost lost it all from a bad read. Now I do want to note something about this structure. There is an entire undersection of this fortress that I do recommend checking out. It's absolutely wild. And we are definitely going to explore it eventually. I just don't think right now is a good time. Oh goodness. Let's take that. It's a mana regeneration. I just want to place our waystone somewhere nearby. Oh goodness, these chests are too good. There's a smithing template. Let's take these warp scrolls. Oh, it's just good stuff. I think this will be a pretty decent spot. And we can call it Nether for right now. And we should be able to go ahead and head home. And take a deep breath and relax. So now that we're back, we should be able to take our Eye of Ender, which also gets us one step closer to going after the dragon. And the reason I say this is because our dimensional progression is going to go pretty quick. Because we need to get through those dimensions to be able to gain access to almost all of the starting automation that is going to be in this pack. And I'm pretty excited about this, but now that I've kind of got that eye crafted and we have it learned, we can, for one, use it to help locate our structure, but we also need to go about and upgrade our furnace to crystal. Now, we could also make an emerald one, which is honestly pretty easy to make as well. But let's go ahead and take this, grabbing all of that beautiful XP, and then we also need some glass. So with a little bit of crafting, we can go ahead and get this all set up, and there we go. There's our crystal furnace, which is the next tier, and this drops it by 20, but we can go even faster by making the obsidian one. And to be able to make that, we are going to need 4 blaze rods, which is kind of expensive, at least at our current moment. And we're also going to need 4 obsidian. And that's really it. And we're going to have one of the fastest furnaces that we can craft at the moment from going into the dimensions that we well have been to thus far. Now, to see this in action, we can throw in some iron, and this is now smelting incredibly quick. For what we've put into this, this is going really fast now. So now with an incredibly fast furnace and some resources starting to build up, we can actually start our process of automating early EMC very, very soon, thanks to villagers. That's right, easy villagers, and we're going to be able to get that all set up very, very soon. As in the next episode, because today we are all out of time. So if you're looking forward to seeing that automation in process, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up. Also, check out the Discord if you haven't already, linked down in the description below, or you can go to discord.gg/ChosenArchitect and join the amazing crew today. And with all that being said, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to PepsoTwiz. Thank you so much, by the way, for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. I do appreciate you very, very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you, of course, in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye!